R.G. Yoho joins me now. His new book is The 9 Lives of Charles E. Lively. R.G., thanks for coming back on the show. Good to have you back.
Hey, thank you, Dave. It's good to be back.
Hey, well, let me ask you, you have done, how many books total have you written?
12.
12 books, and 7 of those are Western novels, so you've got some experience in nonfiction, don't you?
Yeah, it's limited. I've probably never taken on a project quite of this magnitude before, though.
Hey, I've got to tell you, you sent me a copy. Coop got one, too. This story is really well-researched. I mean, just the research aspect of this is really impressive. How long have you been working on this?
In some way or another, I've been working on this probably since 2012, and it's really just the last couple of years have made it good because a lot of the newspapers nationwide have been digitized, which allowed me to find things that I couldn't find before.
Yeah, I was going to ask you also, is there a lot of new information in this publication that you put together?
Oh, yes. Charles Lively's mentioned in just about every book about the coal mine wars, but he's never been talked about in the depth I have here, and I've discovered there's some really bombshells in this book about Lively. And I think understanding him really kind of helps you understand the coal mine wars a little bit better in this state and Colorado.
Now, you point this out in the book that Lively had a ton of aliases. Did that make it more difficult to research it?
Oh, gosh. Yes, it sure did. He's hard to nail down. I sometimes think that I don't know sometimes whether he was using an alias in every case or it's bad reporting or maybe a combination of the two.
Hey, one of the things I wanted to ask you about in the book as I was going through it, obviously he's heavily involved in the killing of Sid Hatfield and Edward Chambers in the West Virginia mine wars. But, I mean, he had some real issues with his own family. He shot his own son, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he got mad at him over just pretty much simple family dispute type of thing, and he went outside the house and shot his son through the screen door.
Wow. So, this really is a West Virginia story. There's a big part of it that takes place out in Colorado, but he's from Davis Creek, and we know about his activities in Mingo County. Tell me a little bit about the end of his life, his later years. He died in Huntington, right?
Yes, he actually killed himself on May 28th, 1962, and he was about 75 at that point. I don't really believe he killed himself as a result of feeling guilty about what he'd done. I think it had more to do with the fact he appeared to be going blind his last few months of his life.
Yeah. His story is really really a very curious story about how he would get involved. He would infiltrate Union sympathizers, and he was a big source of information. What made you want to write about him? What is it about this story that got you going?
Well, I first learned about it from the Matewan movie that was made in the 80s by John Sayles. But actually, I started in about 2012 the interest over the History Channel's production of the Hatfields and McCoys, and I really thought at the time that wasn't really the most interesting history in West Virginia. I thought the most interesting history in West Virginia involved Charles Lively and his connection to Matewan afterwards, and then how he went to the courthouse about a little over a year later and shot someone to death. And then the Battle of Blair Mountain started over the outrage over him getting acquitted. R.G.
Yoho is with us. He's the author of the book, The 9 Lives of Charles E. Lively, the deadliest man in the West Virginia Colorado coal mine wars. We're winding down, R.G. For people who are interested in this book and would like to get a copy, where can they get it? How do they do it?
Well, you can get it through Amazon, or you could go directly to my own website, which is R.G. Yoho, R as in Robert, G as in George, YOHO, RGYoho.com, and it'll take you a link that'll take you right to where you can purchase it.
Now, you're the president of the West Virginia Writers Association. Tell me a little bit about that organization.
Oh, it's been a rough year for the organization.
I'll
bet. We had a conference all scheduled to come up in June, our yearly conference, and we had to cancel that this year because of all the COVID-19 things, and so it's been a tough year for our organization. It's going to make me the first president to ever cancel a conference in 40 years. But
hey, before I let you go, what has been what kind of initial response are you getting to the book? Because I got to tell you, Coop and I both loved it.
Well, thank you. That is really good to hear. Sometimes you don't know what you have until other people comment on it, but it's starting to get a little interest. I actually have a place in Colorado, PBS station, wanting to interview me about the book as well.
Good deal. Good deal. Hey, well, RG, I got to leave.
The 100th anniversary.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Let's wrap this up. Go ahead.
With the 100th anniversary celebrations of so many things in Lively's life coming up in the next 16 months, it'll be talked about a good bit, I believe.
I think you're probably right about that. Well, listen, job well done. We really enjoyed the book, and we enjoyed having you on the show. Thanks for listening, and thanks for coming on.
Okay, thank you so much, Dave. Tell Coop hi.
You got it. R.G. Yoho, the book, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed it. The 9 Lives of Charles E. Lively, the Deadliest Man in the West Virginia-Colorado Coal Mine Wars. A good read. A lot of stuff. You know, if you've seen the Mate 1 movie or you've known about the killing of Sid Hatfield, his story, or maybe you just kind of sketchy on some of those details, this thing really does fill in the gaps. It's a good read.